Good evening, Ghana, and welcome to another exclusive edition of a Sports Night live here on Joy Sports on Multi TV. My name is Kwame Jamo Ajman. Now, season 2013-2014 of the Globe Premier League is commencing this weekend, and there's been a lot of talk out there as to whether the PLB is prepared for this season's league or otherwise. Well, this evening we're going to be bringing to you an exclusive interview we've had with the PLB board chairman, Mr. Welbeck Abrapia, on issues concerning the Globe Premier League, from issues concerning ticketing, from the fans' view, from the sponsorship view, from the media view. Well, Mr. Welbeck Abrapia, the PLB board chairman, has been explaining all these issues, and we're going to be bringing you this exclusive interview live here on Joy Sports on Multi TV when we come back from this break. We're back from the break, and I'm sure you're looking forward to listening to the PLB board chair, Mr. Welbeck Abrapia. Well, we started by asking him what he makes of the preparations of the PLB going into season 2013, season 2014, and he had a lot to say about that.
Right. Thanks very much. What I will say, among others, is the fact that we are prepared. We are prepared in the sense that football involves certain steps and events, which, when culminated together, becomes a football match. And I'll start with, for instance, officiating. Referees have gone through a series of courses from which a selection has been made for those who will be in the center and those who will also be on the lines. And a lot of review of last season's events, as far as officiating is concerned, have been made known to them, and a lot of discussions have gone on. And I will say I sincerely praise the GFA's referee committee for the able manner they've handled these refresher courses for the referees. They are ready, as we've been told. Now let's come to match commissioners. In the past, we had a match commissioners who were different personnel from coordinators. This time around, the two have been fused together. So we didn't find match coordinators also playing the roles they were playing earlier on in the past seasons. But then the match commissioner will be handling that alongside this match commissioning of matches. And we also believe that this will be handled appropriately. Now let's look at the fields of play, or the venues. We've managed to go through all the venues. And I bet you I took part myself in the inspection of these venues. I was at Pando, and I was supposed to have been at Wa, and then the personnel who went on these inspections were 3 in all. That is, referees committee gave us a personnel, the security committee also gave us personnel, and then they were led by the PLB member in each of these venues. And so the venues throughout the country were divided into some groups, and for each of them, there were these 3 categories of persons who went to inspect. And when we start, and possibly we are able to get a sponsor for the television coverage, then of course you see a bit of a difference in terms of the venues to be used this coming season. One major thing you will find this time, which I wish to let the public know, is the fact that in the past, let's take Pando, for instance, where I went to inspect. Sorry. From the dressing rooms of the players and the officials to the field of play is quite a distance. And it is here that intimidation in the past had been going on. Not only at Pando, but almost all the centers where there were what we called no tunnels. This time around, each of these venues have got tunnels. And I can tell you, until yesterday, that is just yesterday, which was last Wednesday, some clubs had not been able to fulfill these conditions, and they were informed that if by the close of day yesterday, they had not been able to come up with these tunnels, then of course, we were going to inform the FA, that's the executive committee, through the emergency committee, to prevent us from using those venues as match venues. And as expected, they hurriedly managed to put up these tunnels. So apart from that, the field of play itself, some of them needed to be reshaped. There were a lot of undulating fields in some of these venues, but then we've been able to advise, and they have put these things right. So, we'll be using all the venues as required by the clubs, except Dansoman, which is Carl Rindolph Park, where through our inspection we got to know that they were regrassing the field of play, and we sincerely told them that we were not going to allow them to use the place for this season. They have assured us that they will be able to put things right before the commencement of the second round. That is in January. Fine. We have accepted that. So we will not be using Carl Rindolph Park from this very first round. There was the option, for instance, of a situation where they would have wished that if they were able to put things right, say by the next 1 month or 2, then they could go back. We said no. It will disturb our planning. So we're not accepting that. We are being a bit ruthless in taking certain decisions to make sure that our football grows. Now, when we're looking at some of the other issues like ticketing is another venue or issue where in certain places in the past, we had used this advanced electronic ticketing, and it has been very, very useful. I always say that a club like Abusua Dwarfs, a club like Chelsea, have always insisted on using this electronic advanced tickets. The last match House of Oak played with Kotoko, they used it, and it helped. And so we're going to continue using some of these aspects of our game, but then it's not going to be compulsory. Where it matters that we will not, or the club is not very keen in using the advanced ticket, fair enough. But then those who want to make money, so that whoever enters will pay for, except when you are under complementary and all that, will be able to, the clubs will be able to benefit from these. Now let's look at complementary cars. Complementary cars is the issue which goes hand in hand with ticketing. And we are expecting that the clubs at the various centers will have to sit down with the National Sports Authority where they are using National Sports Authority venues, and where it is not, whoever is in charge of the field of play, that is the stadium, will have to sit down with the various clubs to decide how complementaries should be given out. Now, media accreditation. I'm happy to say that this is no more handled by the PLB. We hear all kinds of stories from outside there where people are saying the PLB, we don't know how media, whether we'll be using the tickets, what do you call it, media accreditation, which we used last year or not. We are not. Last year, and for the past 2 years now, we have never had anything to do with media accreditation. It is handled by another committee, and that is the media committee. It is not PLB who issues media accreditation. So if by now, today being Thursday, you've not heard of whatever, how do you be able to cover these matches, which we all cherish, will be covered by journalists, Of course, it should not be put on the doorsteps of PLB. It should go to the media committee. There's a credible chairman with effective members as members of the committee. So please, spare us that kind of trash which you've been giving us, that PLB is responsible for almost everything. No. The same goes with security. I just mentioned that we went around the venues inspection with the security committee members. They have also got a hand here. They approved of all the venues we have inspected. And we expect that if there's anything concerning security, they will be able to handle it. What people might not know or do not probably accept is the fact that until last 2 seasons, PLB had to do almost everything in connection with the league. But this time round, there have been a lot of committees which have come up, and they are responsible for certain aspects of the game. So please, spare us, the PLB, of all the chastisement we often receive from you. Now, let's talk about sponsorship. It's rather very disappointing to hear that as we speak now, with just about 3-4 days for us to commence another season, we don't know whether GLO is coming or not. GLO assured us that by the middle or the first week of September, they will make good funds to us. And these funds are the previous outstandings. As we speak now, nothing has come. Let me tell you something. As early as 7 o'clock this morning, I had to call the second topmost person of GLO in Lagos. I was fortunate that he even received the call. And ask him, are you serious with us? The answer is that everything is on course and that by Saturday, they will be able to make funds available. I said, Saturday, a day before the commencement of the league. What are you trying to suggest? How do we call this coming season's league? Do we call it GLO Premier League or what?
You would always bet that Mr. Welbeck Abrapia would be on top of the issues and will see things the way they are. We're going to be taking a breather at this point. When we come back, we continue with that interview we had with Mr. Welbeck Abrapia. We're back from our first set of commercials, and I'm sure you're looking forward to hearing a lot more from the PLB board chair, Welbeck Abrapia. Well, in this segment, you're going to be hearing his take on issues concerning sponsorship and, of course, officiating and other issues concerning the commencement of the season's GLO Premier League. Let's listen to board chair of the PLB, Welbeck Abrapia.
I think Mr. Nyantakyi is not in the country. When he returns from Japan, a situation of this nature will have to be looked at carefully. The dilly-dallying up and down is too much for us.
Have you considered looking for another company?
Who is to look for what? Every Ghanaian has the right to come up with a sponsor.
There's a marketing division.
There is a marketing committee. In the past, it wasn't like that. There is now a marketing committee, there is the events committee, and all that. You don't expect Abrapia and his PLB to go around looking for sponsor at this time. They also have their role to play.
When you speak to them, what do they tell you?
Why do I have to speak with them?
You're the boss.
I'm the boss of what?
PLB.
The PLB has nothing to do with only the sponsorship.
And you run the league.
We run the league, yes. I thought you were listening to me. We have various committees now. We have various committees now who are handling certain aspects of the game. We cannot sideline the security people and go and say that, look, we want 10 policemen to be here, we are asking the military to come. What are they then doing? How do we go around and tell people that come to PLB office, like we were doing in the past, for your accreditation? There's a committee for it. We have events and marketing committee. But then, like I keep on saying, it is not the responsibility of only the FA, and for that matter, the Events and Marketing Committee, to only look for sponsors. If you are credible enough and you think you can help us with why not approach the FA? I feel so sorry to have a situation like we have now, where we don't have even a TV sponsor. Somebody will ask you, as we start on Sunday, like people would have wished that they stay in their homes and watch television without going to watch matches at the various venues. Which clubs will be playing? The issue is that OMP has still got to renew their contract with the GFA. They've not done that. So how do we, they would have wished that we gave them the opportunity, or the FA gave them the opportunity to start with the telecasting of the matches from this coming Sunday. But they also have a responsibility. They have a commitment, which is outstanding. Do we just allow this thing to go like Glo has treated us? If today, Joy Sports, ETV, or TV3, feels that they can handle the television coverage of matches, why not? They should see the FA, the gurus there, and probably something could come out of it. But you are all sitting back and only putting the blames. Yes, we should go for sponsors, go for sponsors. There was a meeting between all the 16 clubs of the Premier session, FA Cup committee members, PLB members, and the emergency committee. We held a meeting here about 2 weeks ago on this issue. Cards were opened. Everybody got to know that, yes, SuperSports wants to come in, but they are paying only $600,000. Do you think our league is worth that? And this might not be for just 1 year or 2 years, but probably more. And every year it might be the same. Do you think our league is worth that? Do we merit that amount?
So how much do you think our league is worth?
At least if they were giving $1 million, probably. Because at the meeting it came up. If they were prepared to give 1 million, why not?
We don't have nothing now.
Yes, it's better sometimes. Sometimes it's better not to sell your birthright than to do that for a peanut.
So how much was OMP given to EFF?
I have no figures here to give, but it is woefully not up to the one probably the SuperSports were giving.
In the financial state in which most of our clubs are at the moment, and without the cushioning from a sponsor as in the league, or something from a rights holder, are you worried that might also go in a long way to affect the quality of football that will be
It will not affect the quality. It will not. The cameras are there. One aspect of it, which I'm so sorry about, that if the cameras are not there, might affect the performance and standard, is officiating. When the cameras are focused on our referees, I can tell you they perform creditably well. But without that, but let us not forget that we'll still have the GFA cameras at all the venues, because they will cover these matches and come back to show to us if there are any lapses. Then we'll see to address them.
So does it mean that the SuperSports deal is off?
I wouldn't say it's off.
It's on hold.
It's still on hold, and they can come in any time if they want to come in and give us something like we are looking for. You are journalists. Find out how much they are paying for Nigeria League. Is it better than ours? How much they are paying for Kenya? Is their football better than us? How much are they willing to pay for Ghana? Look, we need not, it is better sometimes to drink water and not eat and wait for days when it will be better for you to eat. That is my thinking anyway. It's debatable. People can say that, look, however small it is, take it. But then if you take it, we will still grumble at the end of the day.
Perchance, if they are paying so much for the Nigerian league or paying so much for the Kenyan league, maybe there's something they are doing to get them to pay more that we are not doing.
Like what, for instance?
There is a lot of players.
Exodus of
Quality
players.
The
Are you sure Nigerians don't export players? Kenyans may not export players because they are not skillful. Okay, there might be criteria for determining some of these things, but I am not sure. I'm not part of those who traveled to South Africa to negotiate. But I'm not sure whether it came up for discussion that, look, this is why we're giving this to Kenya, this is why we're giving this to... There might have been discussions of all this, but then as far as we were told at the meeting, that amount does not merit Ghana's standard of football, for which we should accept. So we are waiting.
It's only 72 hours.
No, it doesn't matter. We can go on and start, and later on, probably, there will be a change of ideas and they may come back. Who knows? Because if you sign in some of these contracts, it's not for only 1 year. It might be for 2-3 years. And so if you are unable to cover just a portion of the first year, fine. And note also that the Super Sports one included the FA Cup coverage. Do you realize this? They were to cover the Premier League and cover the FA Cup as well for that amount. But the FA Cup, we know, is being handled by MTN. And that is something. So if you put the two together, do we merit getting $600,000 for our league? If you were in the shoes of the FA president or any of the emergency committee members, would you have accepted that? To put together the Premier League and then the FA Cup for that amount?
Well, it's hotting up in here, and I'm sure you, my cherished viewer, are waiting to listen to more concerning what the PLB board chair, Mr. Welbeck Abrapia, has to say concerning the Global Premier League. We'll do a final round of commercials, and then when we come back, Mr. Abrapia would sum up the discussion for us. We're back from our final break and wrapping up the discussion with the PLB board chair, Welbeck Abrapia. Let's wrap up with what he has to say.
They are very, very competent. Those who went to South Africa, Kwesi Nyedeji is a lawyer, a banker. Not that. The vice, Fred Krenzel, is a tech businessman and has also handled Accra House of Folk as the chief executive. He knows football. And then the secretary. But then the fact that there's an autonomy of the PLB or for whatever might bring sponsorship. I don't think I buy that idea now. I don't think I buy that idea now. Not now. Other countries have tried, and they've all failed miserably. They failed miserably in Africa. South Africa economy, my brother, is about all of Africa put together and competing with. Tell me if I'm wrong. You go to South Africa, you see the concerns there, the institutions there, the caliber of companies there, the competition among the companies, always vying to be on top. Do we find that here? To the level that even our own economy here, get fees. For how long now have you been paying 2 Ghana cedis and 3 Ghana cedis as our gate fees? Minimum. So many years now, because if you dare increase it, So until the economy becomes a bit buoyant, we must be careful not to increase some of these gates. But in South Africa, let's even take Britain. You and I know very well that in Britain you cannot watch football for free. You must pay for. You must pay for to watch live matches. Even matches which have been played earlier, in terms of what we call the headline. You must pay to watch such matches on your television. But in Ghana, everybody wants it for free. If it is not done, the ministry, why didn't you show us this match, this friendly match we want to watch? We want to play over there. We should have watched this match. Oh, do you know how much it goes into paying for that friendly match we played, that is in terms of television broadcast? You are journalists. Tell the world. Can you just go there and say we are showing this Ghana's friendly match and beam it to Ghana for free? It is not. But here, people want to have it for free. So they will not even go to stadium when their teams are playing. And yet, they have the opportunity to call into radio and then say anything. Without examining themselves whether they are doing the right thing by not going to watch these matches, and for which the clubs they support would have had some money from their gate fees to be able to get the clubs running. No, they don't think about that. For free, yes.
With, revenue streams being so important in sports, and with all the challenges that you're facing right now, I'm not sure your position is something that you even enjoy doing every day.
You are perfectly right. You've said it. Sometimes people of some levels, high levels, will tell you, Abra, why are you wasting your time? Why are you giving yourself so much opportunity to people to be insulting you on radio every now and then? Anytime they talk about negatives, it's Abrapia Kosinyenteji, Abrapia Kosinyenteji. All kinds of insults. There is a level to which some of these things can go. It must stop somewhere. It's not fine. It's not. You see, the sponsor we are not getting for some of these things is also coming out of the fact that people don't respect those at the helm of affairs of football in this country. And they say anything. So this one there is football, so we can insult anybody and do anything. And for that reason, it tarnishes the image of the people who are handling football in this country. So when you walk out there and you want to go and negotiate for sponsorship, you have a problem. Oh, are you the Kosinyentechi? Are you the Abrapia? They are always saying you people are corrupt, you people are thieves and all that. Me being a thief, what have I stolen? Too bad. Yet, the kind of comments coming from outside will not permit the businessman there to come and sponsor football. So it must stop somewhere for us to get what we want to do and get to that level. Premier League, we have been able to put certain structures in place. If today, Kosinyentechi is not there, Abrapia is not there, the structures have been laid for people who will take over to be able to manage our football to the height we all expect.
How exciting.
I'm the father, as they say it. I'm the father of all the clubs, all the 16 clubs. All what I tell them is that every match carries the same number of points. You win, you get 3 points. We haven't changed that. The regulations and the statutes are there. They haven't been changed. If you draw, you get only 1 point each. If you lose, you get nothing. And the first day's match, or match day 1, is equally important as the 30th match day matches. So plan well, do well, motivate your players, and nobody else, and then get the points. Because just as you all started, when you get to the end of it, 3 will be relegated. As for that one, it's obvious. And as at now, we don't know. And at the same time, we expect that 1 will be the champion. Thank you.
Thank you.
on that note, we draw the curtains on today's edition of our Sports Night, and I'm sure you out there can't wait for the commencement of the Globe Premier League fixtures coming up this weekend. Big matches, and for fans of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, whose side won the Super Cup on Sunday, defeating Medeama Sporting Club by 3-0. They will be looking forward to match day 1, where they seek to defend the title they won in season 2012-2013. For you out there, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.